showtime. Dynamite Download. Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling feel like.
I told you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
Super kick, hot time!
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
That punk, that long-haired hippie freak.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
So that you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw horse.
Raw horse?
Oh my god! Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
It was Frankie match.
Awesome.
This podcast is quite frankly the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
The day spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Woo! Woohoo! Tony Khan was in the kitchen cooking up, and we are here. We got it like this, and of course, Moxley's got it like this.
What is up? A lot of stuff going on in the wrestling world, a lot of stuff going on in the AEW world, and some potential injuries, some potential surprises, some updates on maybe AJ Styles. I mean, a lot's going on, but it doesn't matter. Like you said a couple weeks ago, Mindrunner, which I really loved, was that how, it feels like 2026, Tony Khan is not really caring what the other side is going on. They're looking into the horizon. Yeah. Their sun sets, their sun rises, and they focus on themselves, and they just produce some great stuff for the sickos, and we're getting that week in and week out, and it's reflecting on the product, and it's reflecting for us fans. And you heard it last night from the Denver crowd, and they were on fire from bell to bell, from start to finish, and they got lucky because they got not only some dark matches, they got Dynamite, but they also got Collision, which we're going to see air on Saturday. But boom, man, that crowd last night was – it was like the sixth man, if you ever, basketball, the bench, so great.
Big
Home
time.
field advantage.
Big time. Mile High Stadium, Mile High, Anarchy in the Arena at the main event. We had all kinds of stuff going on. Denver was so fired. They deserved the show that they got. They were all on their feet for so much of it, and it was non-stop. We talked about it last week. Tony's in the kitchen cooking. I mean, the pace of this show was incredible. The slowest match of the night was still nonstop action. That was the meat match between Brooke King and Dunkzilla, which I had to do some research on why he's called Dunkzilla. But Mark Davis, I guess, used to be a basketball star in the Austin,
really?
Something like that. But regardless, everything was fantastic. It was so hard to pick a single top performer. 2026, I saw some people saying, is it feeling like 2019 AEW? I think it's beyond. I think it's the best of 2019, but also it's so good now. It's so much better. And we still have so many superstars that are set to debut or return anytime soon. So strap in.
It's not even using it to the fullest, and it's insane.
It's great. And we got to acknowledge our girl, our trooper, our soldier. One of the best in the business. Again, she's constant. This is the third time or fourth time she's gotten injured. Good news is it doesn't sound like anything's broken. It sounds like it's minimal. And she is still doing promos, as we'll talk about a little bit later. So she's still in the mix. And I do love it when a key player in a storyline, if they get injured, they're still involved. And so I think that's good. But, our heart goes out to Penelope. She's one of our all-time favorites. She's, Deb and I have loved her since 2019. She's phenomenal. And we really hope that she heals up because we love watching her wrestle. And, but yeah, this is great stuff. But yeah, good news on that. And we also wish Darby Allin the best, as he, if you've been watching our socials, quite an interesting situation. I think it would be great if Darby starts promoting Lyft, because if you haven't seen already, check out our, I think we retweeted it, but Darby got kicked out of his Uber by some insane driver, and that's the first. I think that's the scariest I've ever seen Darby look. He's climbed Mount Everest. He took on John Moxley in death matches. But when that Uber guy started losing his mind, I saw Darby at the first time I saw a look of actual concern on his face.
Insane. I mean, I've been in a ton of Ubers, travel a lot for work, but it's like you're hiring a service. And unfortunately, yes, if you have someone in the back being loud and obnoxious, it is what it is. You're hired there for a service. And to go off the deep end like that, not only you put someone's life in danger in an unsafe environment, which is totally not cool. I smell a lawsuit coming, but I also smell a 0-star rating for that driver, and they might be driving their Uber much longer. Yep. But if you haven't seen it, yes, we reposted on our page on Twitter. It's going all over social, but it's kind of hit Darby. You can't just sit down and do an interview. You got to do it in the back of an Uber going somewhere.
Well, that's Darby. Yeah, that is Darby.
Darby fashion. Mile High City kicking things off, and Moxley being I loved what Renee said, and I tweeted this out on our page. She said something along the lines of being one of the most consistent wrestlers there, without saying he's like an MVP in the wrestling business, but also in AEW. That sideline reporter stuff we get from Renee, I love it, and it's especially even more cool that it's her husband she's talking about, and so. And then the instant interview with Marina Shafir, another cool spot as well. So I like that portion, especially it kind of buys time and it maximizes the time because Moxley's entrance is like 5 minutes long already.
Yeah, it's great though.
I like it. That's so fitting. Everything about the Death Rider's entrance with the red lights in the backstage. Then as they talked about the slapping, that Marina Shafir kind of pumps him up, but that sideline reporter stuff. It's really cool. I like that they're incorporating that, and it kind of felt different. Dynamite, they started off with the promo work, then did the fireworks, then they started with Moxley, and then the sideline reporter. So all this stuff is pretty cool stuff on that, and I hope they continue to do that, especially when it's Moxley's or Death Rider's entrances. It's a perfect time to do it.
Absolutely, and I love, like you said, to your point, I love this. I do love that Marina Shafir is with the Death Rider. She's continuing to find her place. This was a great use of her. I always I'm waiting for the Lance Archer versus Marina Shafir match because I love when they get into it with each other. But this was great. Good acknowledgement. Good way to start. Also, speaking of Red, though, we did have our clone entrance, which is also pretty cool. And I was really excited for this one because Moxley can wrestle. Moxley doesn't have a variety of moves himself. He's a brawler, but he can hang with any style. He can fight. He can fight a big guy. He can fight a grappler, and then he can turn around and fight a luchador. And that's exactly what we got. Do you feel like this might have been a little too long, or do you think it was just long enough?
I felt it was a little too long, and as expected. Well, first off, this is Clone's first loss, which is it's fine because it's against Moxley in a title match, and that is the benchmark of AEW. And Moxley has been known to put people over. And so this did seem a little bit too long and kind of almost a rush finish in a sense. I expected one of the pop-ups from Clone, one of the Death Riders, to do one of his signature pop-ups that he's done on that as well. So maybe Moxley got his bell rung or something, and he's like, "Fuck this, we're ending this," in a sense. It's kind of like that. But he definitely planted El Clone pretty dang good at the end there. All that the little nitpicking aside. I did. You named it. It started off kind of a slow match, but it needed to be kind of for Moxley to set the pace. Moxley's not a high flyer. He's not a Pac. He's not a Ray Phoenix. And so to go against someone like El Clone, he needs to pick his spots and kind of ground and pound. And it still allowed El Clone to do, his signature stuff. And it's testament to Moxley and his adaptability in the ring with anybody. And that's what, Renee said, and why everyone thinks he is such a pivotal pillar of AEW from day one, really.
He really is kind of the main character. I mean, if you really want to break it down, I mean, we've got Hanger, we've got MJF, we got Swerve, we got all these other guys, but Moxley, he's kind of like, I would say he's the godfather of AEW right now. You know, he's kind of, he is consistent. And like you said, he can wrestle with any style. And again, AEW continues to do this where the person taking the loss still looks good. You know, it's rare that they get quote unquote jobbed out. And for Clone to take his first loss, it didn't take away his abilities. You know, he looked so great in that 3-on-3 from last week. He looked so great in the ring before, and to take on Moxley and and hang with him for so long, it's a testament to him. So he doesn't walk away looking any worse for wear. They just can't talk about his win streak, which I think, you know, when Hologram is nice and healthy, exactly. So this was phenomenal. Great way to kick it off. And
getting those hints, though, consistently getting those hints.
Yes.
Of when we're going to get the hologram clone match that we want so badly. And so there's still a lot of meat on the bones for Death Riders versus Don Callis family, which we're going to see on Collision, which is a 4-on-4 battle on that as well. But man, post match, I did not. I like the way that they transitioned to this. They're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And you know, in our group chat, we were talking about how it's pretty cool. Like last week, we're like, "What's going to happen with Nana?" You know, he doesn't really have to change anything. But wow, this side of Nana is great.
Heel Nana,
yeah, heel Nana is awesome. Talking smack, getting on the mic, kind of making a surprise appearance as well. And so I love that. And then out of the works was Swerve, you know, kind of a surprise. You know, we didn't get the entrance, the typical entrance, but I like that he just kind of appeared from the crowd unexpectedly, even though after his suspension and fine.
Yeah, and I love it. And of course, we get heel Nana is such a character. And you remember, he was a heel. You know, when Swerve was first a heel, Nana was a dastardly a villain, but you can't. Short of beating up Harley Cameron, I don't think there's anything either one of these guys can do to make me not like them. And even then, there's probably, you know, Harley's involved in some way, so it still makes me happy. I thought it was great that Swerve was speaking some real talk in this promo. He had some great lines, and of all of this, the crowd still couldn't boo him. Like it was mixed. At least there were some boos. Let me backtrack a little bit, but they still were cheering a lot of the stuff he was saying, and I like this edgier, darker Swerve. Like he's kind of like that. Oh, by the way, shout out to Gigi in the chat.
Hey,
she is one. I think we've successfully converted her at least partially to an AEW. She's not necessarily a sicko, but she's a big Swerve fan, big fan of the Flippy Doos, and she is also my mother. So, Mom, love you. Welcome to Dynamite Download. And yes, Swerve is awesome. He's I think he is my favorite, and I actually think this enhances him even more because he is the most dangerous. But woo, talk about that word, the most dangerous, is now becoming a question, and Kenny raised it when he brought up Brody King. So I am looking forward to that matchup. But I thought
not see that coming with the Brody King and Swerve head to head. And it makes perfect sense because we were talking last week. It's like, what now? You know, it's always like the what's next type of scenario. But what now? Who's going to fight Swerve if Kenny can't physically, or he's not there for Revolution? If they're not going to, he's not going to seek revenge. Maybe he will after the match somehow make a miraculous debut at Revolution after his commitments, take a red eye or whatever it may be. But you know, it's hard to, as much as Swerve is over and you know, just an all around amazing talent, heel or babyface, you can't really expect a 100% heel turn, even though it was on Kenny Omega. Like if he took Tony Schiavone and powerbombed him through, maybe he would have put him over the edge. But it was one of those like moments. It's like it's going to take a little bit more time, and he's going to have to do some more disgusting things to really get the heat. But I don't think you're ever going to get away from the Who's House chance because it's so over, and people can appreciate him so much. whether he is a babyface or heel. They can just appreciate his hard work and what he does and what he brings to AEW. So he's going to still get naturally some cheers. However, he's going to turn into this evil, ruthless man and prove us all and continue to live up to that reputation of the most dangerous man in AEW or in wrestling with the match versus Brody. I like that part with that. But I'm excited. For it. But man, Brody King versus Swerve, did not see that coming. I'm excited for it. And it's a good segue for both guys. And we got a lot of potential matches set up last night for Revolution. Kind of really shocked with that match. And then obviously Bandito and Andrade. Holy cow. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But another match that seems to be coming, or maybe it's going to be a tag match. Maybe it's going to be a singles match. But, you know, Darby Allin has been target number 1 for Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors for a while. Orange Cassidy still looking for potentially his friend or foe, Roddy Strong. You know, he had a $15 gift card reward for Roddy Strong.
Yeah, I love that. I love the one, the picture, the caricature picture as well.
It's like that one viral meme of they drew like a leprechaun or whatever. Just like a kid's drawing. Pretty funny. But Gabe Kidd, I mean, really, he, like I said last week, he makes me nervous in the ring for the other competitor because how aggressive and strong and how much of a badass he is. And I know it's professional wrestling, but man, does he throw some hard hits? Does he drop you hard? Does he have such brutal violence? And I was hoping for some points from my guy Orange Cassidy on my team, but wow, I'm happy with this decision, especially if he's going to go against Darby, because then you have someone who has momentum and has a victory over a former champ in Orange Cassidy going against Darby. It'll make it more of a meaningful match to me. And I like the way it was booked, and I love the way that Gabe Kidd was presented last night.
Big time, big time. And what I loved about this match was we've all seen an Orange Cassidy match. We know, you know, the humor now. Some people don't like it. A lot of us love it. You know, the pockets and everything. We like that he can switch between the humor and then but we also know that Orange Cassidy can go. What I loved about Gabe Kidd last night was he took control of the pace of the match. Yes, professional wrestling is choreographed, but he changed the chemistry of this match. He took it away from an Orange Cassidy match and he made it a Gabe Kidd match. And I thought he made that statement from the get-go. He just bum rushed him and immediately started attacking him. Now, yes, Orange Cassidy had some great moments. There were some great reversals into he did a beach break. There was a lot of great stuff. And Orange Cassidy did look good. But this was a clearly Gabe Kidd, I'm an animal message to everybody. And I thought this was clear. And I thought it was phenomenal. I thought this was such a smart move. I am truly impressed with Gabe Kidd. He's no longer just a jobber to me, as Joe Hendry's song says. But if you look it up, if you know, you know. But I thought this was great. Yeah, and I think it is going to lead to possibly a Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors versus Darby Orange, which would be, I don't know, what would their team be called? Blood Orange? Well, that would be their
Blood Orange.
Blood Orange or something like that. Yeah, or ground to a pulp.
Freshly crash tested.
Yeah, or don't take Uber. But I do think that I thought this was phenomenal, and I thought Gabe Kidd really impressed me by completely taking control over the whole match, and I thought it was phenomenal. And of course, you know, what are you going to do at the end? And that pile driver was so decisive. I mean, I'm glad Orange Cassidy's okay, but that just looked so brutal. And then, of course,
wins every time a pile driver happens.
Oh, yes. But that was fantastic. And and then we're going to get to that in a second. But yeah, the pile driver was crazy. Clark Connors coming in. Of course, Darby coming in. This is what it's setting up for. I thought it was great.
Yes, indeed. You know, I wasn't like top of my match when I was looking forward to, but man, it delivered, and I'm excited. There you go. Blood Orange is gold. I like that. There you go. Blood Orange on that. And I would love to see Orange Cassidy come out with his face halfway painted as well.
No, it wouldn't be half painted. It would just be like a little, just a little, like he tried
one
a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But speaking of half face, yeah.
Wow. The tag team, I mean, this is a dream tag team for a lot of us.
Yep.
Statlander and Thunder are going to team up against the Sisters of Sins on Collision ahead of Thunder's match, it's pretty crazy that she's already getting the title match, and she just came back and had one singles match. Now she's going to face Tekla on, once again, title match on free TV, which this could have been milked out, stretched out for the pay-per-view, which would have been great match. Maybe they will get a rematch at the pay-per-view, but who knows? But man, I can't wait to see for these two teaming up together. But I don't know, like what Statlander has these warnings and stuff. Like,
yeah.
What do you think? Like, what is your take on the kind of hidden messaging behind this promo?
I don't know, and like Thunder Rosa definitely was coming across a bit spiky in this one. And I don't know if that's a hint. Is Thunder going heel, or is Statlander? I'm not sure they really fully know which direction they're going to go. I thought it was very key that Renee asked those questions, because Renee's not going to ask a question that the creative don't already kind of know what they want out there. So I think that was on purpose to kind of really push this narrative of what's going on between the two of them, because it did just kind of out of the blue. Oh, Statlander and Thunder Rosa are buddies. What are they really? Is Statlander looking to do something, or is Thunder going to do something? I agree. I don't think Thunder's going to get the belt next week, but I think we can definitely count on shenanigans, and this is going to build to possibly Revolution. Thunder versus Tekla in some kind of stipulation match, or something involved with that. I think that's where we're going to build to it. And I think that would be great. But yeah, it's got me vexed, to lack of a better term. I'm not entirely sure.
But that's what's great about it. It has us perplexed. It's not predictable. And so this allows us to have the shock factor of whatever's going to happen. It allows us to fantasy book different little lanes, however it's going to pan out. And so I like, Thunder's back is huge, Statlander, and who knows what's going to happen with the tag division. And this is all without the likes of Mercedes Moné and other members of the women's division right now. So it's, Queen Aminata and some of the key ones that are not around right now. So they're doing a great job carrying the load and kind of keeping it fresh and keeping us going. And I'm happy that they did put the belt on Tekla. I think she did earn that. I think it was, like I said, when she did win, it was time to kind of just freshen it up in a sense, even though we want to see Statlander have a run forever almost because she's so good. But it allows us to have these matches like a Thunder Rosa Tekla, women's world title. Which could be a main event match. You never know for Dynamite next week. But standby match, Kevin Knight, who's been getting, you got to be loving this Mind Runner. He's on your team, getting the point after point after point. He's getting all these standby matches, proven ever since the Continental Classic, proven himself how he's able to stand alone and really, quarterback a match, a singles match, and put on a clinic and put on an awesome show and really start to stand out above a lot of other people as a singles competitor. We know he's great in tag. We know he's great in trios, but man, it's pretty cool to see him have this ever since the Continental Classic, all these singles matches to really shine and really fly per se. What do you make of him kind of calling out Hangman, calling out MJF, calling out, his title shot? Like, what do you?
I think it's good. You have to do this kind of stuff because you're kind of trying on the big guy's clothes a little bit. It's like you want everyone. It was Eddie Kingston had the best line. He says, if your ultimate goal isn't to become world champion, then what are you even doing in here? If you, and that's like kayfabe, you've got to say, I want to be world champion. And it's nice. I don't think they're going to break up Kevin Knight and Speedball anytime soon. Rarely it works sometimes, but it worked for the Rockers, but I don't see that down the line. Learn from your mistakes with the Acclaimed. Let's keep, if it's working, it's working, roll with it. But I do think you need to have those promos. You have to start to see these guys as not as where they're going to be. It's kind of like when you dress for the job you want, not the job you have. I think that's kind of the same thing with Kevin Knight here. Is he's in the he's trios champion. Yeah, he's got a tag team partner with Speedball, but we got to start thinking that next time there's a Continental Classic, or next time if he's going for a title, we got to start seeing him with singles gold. And I think that's what this was designed to do, and really start to get us in the back. You put that picture, just to look at the image. He's holding the trios title, but he's by himself, and just like subliminally, we're seeing, okay, he's a champion. What singles title could he be holding? Could he hold the national championship, the Continental Championship, the TNT title? There's a number of things that he could go. Or like Harley said, you want this belt? You can't have this belt. But there's a lot. I think that's what this was designed to do.
Once too, so Okada's got a belt, so he's already beat him once in the Continental Classic. But maybe he will be whomever comes out of Revolution main events, the champ. He's going to be knocking on the door to try to get a title shot. So he called a shot, and I like that. I like that he's calling a shot, putting his hand in the mix. Like, for a while, that world title picture was so full with the likes of Hangman, Andrade, which it still is.
Yeah.
Brody King, Swerve, Kenny Omega. And now we're kind of seeing some of the stuff kind of settle, the water settle, the dust settle a little bit. And then now we're at least starting to get a few seeds planted moving forward. But the stipulation was set in typical MJF fashion, trying to two-time Hangman. And it is, I guess it's true. I guess that is the stipulation, where he's never going to be able to fight for the world title, which I'm glad they addressed kind of the elephant in the room, where he already did that to one person. He's going to do it to another person. Don't love that. Don't ever love that stipulation, but at least we're getting a Texas death match, which Hangman is very familiar with.
Yep.
So before I ask you about that match, I guess, how do you feel about this face-to-face?
Well, first of all, I think MJF needs to explain how he turned my Mamo's couch into his jacket, because I am, that was an family heirloom, and now he's wearing it around like a sport coat. So we got to figure something out here, there, MJF. I think you owe our family some money. But having said that, again, anytime you get these two guys on the mic, I think it's fantastic. I think AEW has the right opportunity here to really make a statement. They kind of stepped in it with that I'm a man of my word, I'll never challenge for the belt. Now you can always, Hanger can always turn heel and say I was just lying, but I don't think at this point Hanger should ever go heel again, because I think at this point he's kind of Captain America a little bit. He's kind of gone. He's done the whole gone down to the lowest of lows, went insane, and now he's kind of built back up. The whole story at Texas All In was his redemption. But so now I actually think Hanger should win. Hanger should win the belt off MJF at Revolution. I know I was thinking longer, but MJF's got films coming up. The whole summer's coming up. I can see MJF dropping the belt to Hanger. It's a Texas death match. That is Hanger's thing. To lose to MJF in a Texas death match and have to honor that Cody stipulation. You never go full Cody. But I think in this case, I think AEW can really do something cool. They have that, but then this time Hanger wins, and everybody sighs relief, and we move on and never do this stipulation ever again.
Hanger kind of got screwed out of his second title run already to begin with.
Yeah.
And I just hate the stipulation. I don't want to see it in like that. Yeah. It just pigeonholes you too much with too important of a wrestler. Granted, maybe he can win his spot back where he at double. So I think you can go a couple ways. If Hangman does win, then you can have double or nothing rematch, build it all the way to double or nothing, and Hangman wins it back. Fine. It's not too. I'm not too mad about that being a little hot potato thing. But also Hangman's trying to say, I want this to be it. This, he's almost like saying that this is it. And so he wants it to be finished in a sense. So you can't finish the job if you lose and you move on and you tuck your tail, and then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to turn into, I hate to say, you're not going to turn into, if you're not fighting for the world title, you're not a top guy. Like,
nope, exactly. Yeah.
You don't want to turn him into like a mid card draw. But if you have Hangman win, then you can draw it out to maybe double or nothing and get his rematch, or hanging, or MJF do that, or what was the other way? I mean, that's the only way I see it benefiting. You protect Hangman. Hangman loses at double or nothing, back the belt to MJF, and then he continues his run until Wembley versus Ospreay or whomever. But I don't know how we're gonna. There's got to be some kind of shenanigans to either beat Hangman or help Hangman.
Well, of course, the fringe theory is that Hangman is going to quote unquote die at during the Texas Death Match for like 12 seconds, and they're going to revive him. And so technically, as long as he lives, he died, and now he's back alive. So that somehow cancels the fact that he made that. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Nah, I think I would like to think that they learned from Cody. That
it was the demise of Cody since then.
Yeah, that was the downhill
and everything.
Yeah. I think that's a mistake, and so and if anything, that's kind of a. I think Hanger's going to win. I think it's a mistake for Hanger not to win this, because here's the thing: even if he loses, even if he later just goes, I was just lying, that takes away from who Hanger is. His word needs to be, no matter how crazy or desperate he is, the one thing Hanger is honest. Right. Even when he burns down your house, he admits, I'm the one that did it. As crazy as he gets, he's honest. That's the one thing he's had consistent this whole time. So I think that you take that away from Hanger, then he's a nothing character anymore. You've kind of busted his whole story is ruined at that point. So he's got to win.
You have to win by tap or quit, or can you lose by pin?
In Texas Death Match, I think you can. It's pin. I think. No, wasn't it with Lance Archer? It was submit 10 or 10 count. Yeah, I think it's.
What if there's like a double count out?
Oh, so he doesn't lose.
Like they both knocked each other out. No one loses.
So they both. Yeah, they. I don't know.
MJF keeps the title. Hangman does that stipulation is a wash because of that match is over. He didn't lose. He didn't win. So he still protects him. There's a double 10 count out. Yeah. And then MJF's
and of course MJF's going to be arguing, it doesn't count. You didn't win the title. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Yeah. It depends on the semantics, but just why even play with that though? It's like,
I know you're right.
Just go. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but it's like, I can't think of any other way other than Hanger's got to win it now.
Right.
All right, let's talk about it. Our girl, the Babes of Wrath, still two of my favorite people. Unfortunately, Penelope took a nasty dive. Some people are blaming Harley, whatever. Wrath, exactly. She felt the wrath, but. Again, another awesome match here. I found this is kind of where she's fallen. Just kind of look at the position of where Harley and Willow are. It does kind of look like Willow was like, oh no, and kind of reached over to try to catch her, and then Harley tried. So I don't know if it was just the nature of the match, people maybe out of position, or Penelope kind of took a different thing, but went a different direction. But one thing I noticed in the video, Penelope does kind of get up. She doesn't look like she's crying and pain, like her leg is broken. But then later she is crying. We see in the later stuff. So I think it's unfair to blame anybody. I think stuff happens, and I'm glad to see that she's doing better. But you and I were talking before we got on here. We talked earlier. Do you think that the plan all along was eventually to kind of have to transition the team of Megabad to be more Megan Bayne and Lena Cross as two giants, almost like the Twin Towers, or almost like the natural disasters or road warriors kind of thing here.
I would have liked to see Lena in a singles match just to have like a dominant squash and then have this match. And that way you can then have them kind of stand tall with the titles on that. But I do like the towers, and then that will be great, as we like to, always the chase. The babyface chase is always so fun.
Yep.
So you have these two twin towers of ladies, and then it's going to be like, who's going to take them down? Is it going to be the Iconics? Is it going to be the likes of, a new tag team like
Brawling Birds?
The Brawling Birds would be an awesome one because they're hard hitting badasses as well. So there you go. But it's a shame. Like, wrestling's high risk, high reward, and everything is a risk. You talk about, Pac is a very high flyer, and he's hurt his leg multiple times doing things like that. Whether it have been just a fluke landing or a missed, catch from your other members of the match. I'm not blaming anybody. There's no blame, and you can analyze everything with a magnifying glass of this over and over and over. But at the same time, it's like you take that risk, and it's not, even if you got caught, you're not necessarily preventing any type of injury. That being said, it's a shame that the IWC is raking Harley over the coals. I don't know if you saw this, but Harley disabled her Twitter for now too. So her Twitter is blacked out and disabled right now. I think because she's getting so much flack, which is not fair to her and not fair to anybody. Like, you're natural. I guess you're a wrestler, yes, and you want to protect everyone involved, whether you're on the same team or not. But at the same time, like, yes, maybe she moved away a little bit, but we don't know what she's seen from her vantage point. Like, maybe it just everything happened so fast. So all that aside, we hope Ford's injury is not as bad. And like you said, or we saw in the promo in the backstage with the crutch, they can lean into that. And she's been known to still be part of Mega Bad with an injury, hence that one shoulder injury or the elbow that she had. And so that's great to continue. I always like that when wrestlers continue. Like, I feel like they could have done that with Wardlow, even though he tore his pec and it's much serious injury, months and months and months, but he could still be the behind the scenes muscle just as a body. He doesn't have to get involved. What Lance Archer's been doing, Anyways,
and Penelope's fine. In fact, she shows up. She's got a crutch, but she's still there.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, Courtney, and I feel that way too. Here's my comment though: it's the emptiest cans that make the most noise, and the social media. Every village has an idiot. Problem with social media is all the idiots can get together online and be a one loud voice. Yeah. So you got all these idiots that are just some of them are just trying to troll. They're just trying to make get a reaction out of people. But then there's some people that they actually are so sick in the head. They're so like they truly are upset at Harley Cameron, and it's like they probably couldn't even really explain why they're upset. That's the thing to get all hot and bothered and make themselves feel better. So yeah, Harley Cameron deactivating her account. Way to go, idiots.
I know.
Feel better.
One of the best follows and people on social and everything backstage, and now you're gonna idiots. Have her be quiet for a while. That aside, like what you said, the match, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't audible. I feel like there was going to be some shenanigans in the long run at the end of this match to kind of stretch it out a little bit more. Yeah. Whenever you have someone ringside like that, I feel like there's always someone going to get involved. So I do feel like that, not as blatant as this. I feel like that was definitely an audible call just to be like, all right, take the belt and bash her in the head right in front of the ref. And like no F's given. It was kind of funny on that, but I'm excited that I do think we're going to get that tag match with Lena and Mega versus the Babes of Wrath, and that will be the turning point, and it'll be great. That will be just like Tommaso Ciampa, their first match in AEW, going to win gold, and so that'll be huge for her if she does become a tag team champion in the women's division right off the bat. Meat match, definitely some tomahawk. Ribeyes,
oh jeez,
grass-fed, aged, meaty men going toe to toe in this match, and I got to say that the crowd was just they showed no signs of slowing down all night, and this match continued it. It was loud from the get-go. The chants were loud from the get-go, and Callis obviously always, getting under the skin of the whole crowd. He doesn't have to do anything. He just has to show his ugly face, and he gets the F John Callis chants time and time again. So that is true heat, and he no wonder he won like the best manager of the year and things like that. So true heat. He should be out all the time just to consistently get these boos. But I did love this match, and I like that every single week we're giving Mark Davis his flowers, and he's deserving it. And even Kyle Fletcher was posting on social media about giving Davis his flowers as well. And who would have thought, when the breakup happened, how fast Fletcher rose to the top, and now Davis, like you always say, keeps losing these matches, but he's gaining credibility, he's gaining interest, he's gaining stardom, he's gaining these awesome badass points in our books as well, and really having some cool matches and getting a chance to shine. And it's been fun to see that rise.
He's found his identity, like we said, and it actually took him tagging with somebody else to kind of almost get that look in the mirror with Jake something. And I feel like he's now kind of finding his way on his own to establish himself, much like Fletcher did. He's establishing himself, and put him in these matches. And this is, again, another one of those matches where the losing wrestler still walked away looking good. I mean, you're going against Brody King, and how do you further establish Brody King to be the monster that he is? You have him defeat this grizzly bear, and Mark Davis, and that was fantastic. And then the post match, it was fantastic as well. So it's not just the reaction where Swerve's calling himself the most dangerous, and now Brody King is like, no, you got it twisted. I'm the most dangerous. And then his homie, his amigo, Bandito, is starting to talk some smack to Andrade, and who comes out? And
I love this Peaky Blinders look of Andrade.
It's
fantastic. I don't know if you ever watched that show or a fan of that show.
Yes,
I love this Peaky Blinders look. It's pretty cool, and it hides his hair, and then it gives him this villain look as well, this extra little villain style. But is Bandito still the Ring of Honor World Champ?
I don't know. I think he is.
Isn't that his name?
I think he is.
Don't know.
I'm pretty sure he does.
He'd have the belt.
He doesn't have the belt with him right now, does he? I don't know.
In a world where Bandito was featured week in and week out, and one of our top performers week in and week out, I don't know if he's nursing an injury or maybe just he was getting some personal time off to preserve him a little bit, just based on storyline. TK was kind of help him out a little bit. But I need to see him back in the ring. I need to see him featured more and more and more because he's too good not to be there. And so maybe he did have some kind of undisclosed injury or whatever it may be. But I don't know if he's still the ROH world title.
Yes.
I don't know. He is?
He is. I just looked it up. He is still the ROH world champion.
Okay.
But I'm here to tell you this is looking really awesome. This face off between him and this is the best Andrade has ever looked. I've always loved him in the ring, but this is the combo that we've needed for Andrade. Don Callis, kind of this suave guy, he's in the right spot. And yes, this feud will feed families. It's going to be tremendous. And the match, Bandito, Andrade in the ring going at it. It's going to be top tier.
Yep.
Me gusta mucho.
Brody versus Swerve, Bandito versus Andrade. These matches that kind of came out of nowhere that are going to be just like incredible.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sign us up. And then we got Pinky and the
Rain. Pinky and the Rain.
Yes, Pinky and the Rain teaming up on this is for
Protokata.
Protokata. I'm excited to see this for the first time. Pinky and the Rain and Pinky and the poop stain on there. But what do you make of Fletcher? I think it's going to be one of those at Revolution. Okada's going to come out, maybe try to screw Takeshita, and Fletcher's going to come out, and then it's going to be a whole Don Callis, melee / family feud to help have Moxley retain over Takeshita. I feel like that's kind of where the tipping point is, because we're still like slow building something, but nothing is sticking. They're throwing it against the wall, but nothing is sticking and moving forward with the Don Callis stuff.
They got to pull the trigger with this Takeshita Okada. It's almost like they don't want to pull the trigger yet. It's like, let's go, come on.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I get it.
It's like a lazy hand job. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just like, come on, let's get to let's pull the trigger on this whole thing. Let's go. And maybe they're not entirely sure. Maybe they had a plan and then some injuries changed things. Maybe they're not sure what they want to do. If Fletcher wants to go heel or stay heel or go babyface, but they got to do something. Let's pull the trigger on Takeshita and Okada and do something about this. And let's please, but I really kind of do like the proto Okada, and heel Okada just makes me laugh because he's just he's got that that grin. It's just like
Dr. Evil laugh,
punchable face. So
100%.
Yeah.
Man, this Mile High Madness. All right, main event time. When this got announced, I was like, all right, this seems like a pretty sweet match. But holy cow, yes, Anarchy in the Arena 2.0 style stuff. I was like almost ready to stand up and was popping because I just love this so much. I love the fact that the way it started too. Jungle Boy's music, it brought back some good memories when we used to do Friday Night Fights and Flights, and we used to have a little dance break.
Mitch the Plant. Yeah.
And then the fact that they ran it back for a second time as well, which was like the crowd, as soon as that time they ran that music for the second time, the crowd just went wild again. And I knew it was coming, or, because the camera crew was all over with all different angles. But wow, this was one of the most fun matches I've watched in AEW in a long time. And credit to everyone involved. It was just nonstop, so high energy, so fun. And I feel like the crowd played a huge factor in it, especially near the end when they're counting or chanting two more tables, one more table, one more table. So I don't know if that was ever meant to go through all those, but they really kind of hijacked the match in a great way. But man, the way it just was booked so good, they were able to maximize every second, every minute of this match. And it never let up. And we were all texting each other and stuff. And as much as like the Swerve Kenny matches and what we're getting for those one-on-one matches, like this was such a smile, fun match and impressive match from bell to bell. So
it was insane. We always talk about great dance partners.
Yeah.
And you have these geniuses in Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks. They reinvent everything. They're just like the Lucha Brothers, where they have a bunch of move sets, but they find all these unique new ways to do stuff in the ring. And every match, although every match is a guaranteed banger, it's going to always be something different, something new to go like this. But I think look at everybody in this picture. Now, the Young Bucks and FTR are the only four people that were somewhat established when AEW started. Granted, one could quibble that the two Rascals had a little bit of that NXT time, whatever. Okay. Everyone in here looked phenomenal. They played their role. It was non-stop, start to finish through. They didn't take a breather until they all got knocked out. There were so many great moments. I mean, you had the vacuum cleaner spot. We rewatched this match tonight when we invited my mom over for dinner, and she hadn't seen Dynamite yet. We just said, you got to watch this match. This was her reaction like 90% of the time. Like this. There were so many great spots. There were so many moments. This spot was crazy. I mean, if you don't know about the Rascals by now, you need to learn, because these two guys did essentially a Spanish fly sort of moonsault thingy with Ricochet. And this is the thing, is Ricochet deserves a top performer spot too, because he was the perfect dance partner for all of these moves. He hit some great moves, but Ricochet had to be him. He had to be that guy for a lot of this stuff. Bishop Khan always gets underlooked because he's doing phenomenal stuff as well. But you've got Ricochet, and then you got Toa Leona as this. I mean, that dude, he was the giant in this match, and he was still able to keep up with everybody. Yeah. I love that 5-person super kick, and that finally took the giant down. He's one-handing, I think it was Jack Perry when Myron Reed came out. Yeah. What do you think of this finisher that they Wentz and Desmond do, where he kind of flips in the air and then Desmond pushes him?
It's like a power bomb, mid-air push back. I don't even know what to call it.
Ollie kick flip, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I was stoked that they won against FTR the other day, and it was kind of a shock and well-deserved win. And you have to uplift other teammates or team members in the tag team division, and they did that with the Rascals, which is great. Man, I like the finishing move. I like the Rascals. I'm curious. I want them to be trios champs, and that you could put the baby, like, they're a true trios team. What other teams right now are a true trios team other than the
Demand?
The Demand. Yep. And so I feel like they need to do something with the trios titles after Revolution.
Didn't this match feel like Anarchy in the Arena?
Oh, 100%. When you guys said that, I was like, this is all, especially as soon as you keep playing the entrance music, I'm like, this is Anarchy in the Arena 2.0 for sure. And it was perfect. It was everything I wanted. Like, I would be marking out so crazy if I was there live. Yeah. It's just like, over this, trash cans being thrown, trash being dumped on someone jumping off this, someone going through this table, going through this, super kick, vacuum cleaner, announce table, all this, like, all this and that. It's like all over the place. Amazing.
I thought they were about to roll Stokely down the steps like they did in OJ and the Naked Gun. I thought he was.
Unfortunately, they didn't. I wish they did.
But yeah, but I will say this: if I was going to nitpick at all, and this is like so silly, we need more Myron Reed. I mean, he comes in, he flips over the rope into a cutter. Come on now, dude.
I know.
Let's get him more on our TV as well. But yeah, they got him. This was great. I also love that Jungle Jack got the visible pin on Ricochet for the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
totally cool. This should have been 5 stars, 12 if it was in the Superdome in Tokyo Dome, whatever. This was phenomenal. I will watch this match again just because it was nonstop action. I loved every minute of it. The whole show was fantastic. One of the best Dynamites of the year in an already fantastic Dynamite year, and we're not even done with February.
You were not. They've been pedal to the metal, full throttle since the turn of the year. And I just can't. It's almost like a loss for words of this match because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
From the unofficial start to the official finish, and it was just such a feel good moment, and it makes you realize why, like, how AEW is so different and why we're fans from the day one. And it just was like all over the place. Everyone was selling for everybody. Everyone was getting their big spots in, and everyone was looking fantastic. No one lost in this match. The fans won big time, and that's why I could not pick a top performer. I had to pick everyone involved in the Mile High Madness because
I almost did that too.
A huge fan. I was like, I can't pick one. Everyone involved in the Mile High Madness is my top performer.
Yeah, I almost did that too, and I even we were going back and forth on text. We're like, can we pick everybody? Can we pick who's your top performer tonight? Answer, like, who's your top performer tonight? My answer is yes. Like everybody. But I had to single out Gabe Kidd for what he did with the match with Orange Cassidy. Just on the sheer fact that he was able to he changed the entire chemistry of the match. He took it away from being an Orange Cassidy match. He made it his. And even though Orange Cassidy still got his stuff in, I thought Gabe Kidd established himself as a great psycho animal beast in this thing. And I thought that out of everything, if you obviously the Mile High Madness, dude. I will not dispute you on this top performer at all. Good Lord. You could have picked anybody. Bishop Khan,
100%.
Toa Leona. You could have picked Jungle Jack. Jungle Jack was phenomenal. I mean, let's give him his flowers too. He's great. But Gabe Kidd, I had to make sure we highlighted him for how he changed the pace with Orange Cassidy. But what a freaking night. I mean, yeah, Ranger Man said in the chat, great time to be a sicko. Absolutely. I mean, my mom is now a sicko. Yeah, she's a fan of AEW, and it's this kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember when I was growing up, I heard about sushi, never had it. Even though I lived in Japan, I never had sushi. And to me, it just sounded gross. So I'd always tell everybody, I hate sushi. And then one day I tried good sushi. Fortunately, I went to a good place. My friend says, how do you know you don't like sushi unless you try it? And I'm like, all right, I'll try it once. And I loved it. And of course, I'm a big wasabi guy, wasabi and soy. And now I love sushi. So here's the thing to everybody, anybody that says they hate AEW, give it a try. Give it a taste.
A little taste.
Just get your tongue a little wet a little bit. Just get your finger a little sticky there a little bit. Just give it a taste. See what you think. You might be converted. Be open a little bit to it. Give it a try. You might find something that'll bring you joy. And if you don't, hey, no big deal. But it definitely brings us some joy, and it's a great way to, capstone the middle of the week. And yeah, let's do it. Let Tony stay in that kitchen. What ingredients do you need? You let us know. We'll send it to you. But Tony is in the kitchen and he is cooking.
100%. Draft standings, season 8, as after our +2. I'm still sitting at the top, but that lead is not going to last for long. It is dwindling. It is a tight race with everyone involved. And Collision has 13 points up for grabs. So I don't foresee any non-NA points or any blank points happening until the rest of the draft. But Collision, 13 points is going to be a huge swing after Collision. So anything can happen. It is still a lot of time.
This whole thing could look different by Sunday, like the entire rankings, just the way that it's set up this weekend. I can't believe it.
Crazy. Wow. What a great show. Thank you all for joining us in the chat on X, on Instagram. We will see you next week, and we're getting closer and closer to Revolution. It is almost 2 weeks away from Revolution. We'll have our preview show, and we'll also have our bingo cards for +3. So stay tuned. Enjoy Collision. Like I said, 13 points and up. A lot of great matches announced for Collision on Saturday. Big week for AEW.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome, man. Yep. And anybody that watched the Cody Dustin, I want my older brother. All of that stuff. Great stuff. Bye, fam. Been awesome. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Stop.